good afternoon from me, and it's good afternoon from her. Welcome to Caroline and Jezza's problem page, and this is page number 4, as in episode number 4. Greetings.
Greetings.
Excellent. Okay. Right. So this is a very, very widely viewed and watched problem page throughout the world. And what we do every sort of episode, it's basically taking 3 or 4 letters from the post bag. You can see the email address on this site. Send in, it's all confidential, no worries. And we read them out, and then we try to make helpful suggestions, if you know what I mean. And without further ado, I am going to go first. Dear Caroline and Jezza, I gave up drinking on January the 1st this year, a very necessary thing to do. I am a bit worried about Christmas and New Year, though. It will be my first Christmas without alcohol in 20 years. How can I keep myself safe? Any tips? With love from Louise in Staffordshire, I guess.
Yep.
Well, I'll just kick off with, what I think. I mean, it's great that you've done a year of non-drinking, if that's what you want to do. And it's very tricky. It can be a very tricky time, Christmas, lots of things pressing your buttons. So I'm going to suggest 3 things to you, which may be odd, but there you go. 1, make sure you've got lots of chocolate around, because chocolate can really help. It's got something in it that helps your serotonin and just is like a substitute for alcohol. Really, really important. Exercise is very important. So you get a bit hacked off or whatever, but before you get hacked off, go for a good walk, go to the gym, ride your bicycle, do something that's going to take your mind off everything. And the final one is don't suffer in silence. Be with somebody, meet somebody, ring a mate, and say, and share the load. That's my suggestion. Over to you, Carolina.
Very good suggestions there. Very good suggestions. Again, this is about remembering too that Christmas is just one day. Now, in my drinking days, I very rarely drank much on Christmas Day. I was too busy rattling all the pans. So take it a day at a time, an hour at a time, if needs be. And pat yourself on the back for having done so well. And something I think that could really help is that very soon, if you stay on the straight and narrow, which is your choice to do, you want to do this for many reasons, I'm sure, and it's good for you, is that very soon you will be able to say, I gave up drinking last year. Now, actually, I gave up drinking quite a few years ago, and I gave up drinking on December the 1st. And I thought, was I mad before Christmas and all the rest of it? But that really helped me through that Christmas. Oh, soon I'll be able to say, I gave up last year. So you will very soon be in your 2nd year. Well done, you.
Very good. Okay, moving on. Charlie from North London. I'm not sure whether Charlie is male or female. Does that matter? We say to ourselves. We don't know. And this is actually on a similar theme. As usual, I'm dreading Christmas with all the family. There are all sorts of tensions flying around, and I'm frightened there's going to be another big argument between family members. Every year, there is at least one fallout. I know I'm not the only one who wouldn't mind a lockdown being called. Well, there's a part of me that just says, that's life. Families do argue and fight and feud. It's a question of how much that happens. And you know, really, the trick with these situations is not to stand watching it and taking it all on the chin. And the trick is not to actually get in the boxing ring with those people, but to actually get involved in trying to make it a nicer time for them. And that might mean handing out the cocktail sausages. It might mean filling people's glasses. It might mean not watching what you want to watch on the telly. But you need to get involved in the middle of the room and actually do something to add, to contribute, because everybody has these fights. And okay, you know, maybe one of your relatives is going to have a chainsaw and start using it, but you know, not with your careful attitude. Thank you. Over to you, Carolina.
Well, and of course, humor. If things start bubbling up and getting a bit tense, with any luck, you may be able to diffuse that with some humor. And you could come up with you know, extra Christmas pudding for everybody who can stay sweetness and light or whatever. There's, as Jeremy said, the family tensions at Christmas are huge, but you need to take a deep breath if things are bubbling up and keep your side of the street clean. As Jeremy said, do not get into the boxing ring with anyone. And if there's anything you can foresee, like, you know, the two brother-in-laws or whatever don't get on, just, I guess, try and keep them busy, give them jobs to do.
Yes. And of course, the ultimate one is if it gets absolutely horrific, unless you happen to live in the middle of Dartmoor, you can always leave.
Yes.
That's the sort of real last option. So good luck, Charlie from North London.
And this advice applies, obviously, whether you're a man or a woman, Charlie, to everyone and anyone.
Yeah.
Deep breath, count to 10.
Okay, next one. And this is from Miss R. I don't know why we're not knowing anybody's name, but
well, Miss R. Now I can see why she hasn't put her name.
Yes. Okay.
I am really hoping my boyfriend might propose this Christmas, but please can you help prepare me for the fact that he might not? I will feel so disappointed and so sad if he doesn't. I don't want to end up having a huge row on Christmas Day. Well, Jeremy.
Well, there's an old expression which I think is very, very helpful, and that is hope for the best, expect the worst. And you can switch that around if you like. But it is very often our expectations, you know, that we're going, this better be it, it's going to be it. And sometimes you have to get that balance right. Well, I hope it is going to be, but, you know, it probably won't. And then when it probably isn't, well, you're not too downhearted, you're not too surprised. But when it is, you're going, away, you know, brilliant. I really didn't expect that it would be. And that's very annoying when people say that. But I think somebody, and I'll end on this, my advice. Somebody said to me that if you stare at a kettle waiting for it to boil, this is a bit of a mistake because it won't. And the trick is not to think about it, and the kettle will boil very quickly when you're not watching it. So good luck. Hope it all works out.
There's a lovely phrase I heard earlier this year: low expectations, high serenity. So if she says, look, this isn't going to happen today, it's Christmas Day, it'll happen when the time's right, and just sort of trust that it will happen if the time's right. If he's the right one for her, She will soon find out. If there is no ring or proposal on Christmas Day, and she feels like revving up and saying, "Oi, you," well then, Jeremy, what do you suggest then?
Well, I suggest you go to the shed in the garden, get the chainsaw out, and it's quite hard to start. You have to get zzz, and you start it, walk into the sitting room near your proposed, your possible fiance, and go, "Rodney," and he'll go, "Oh my God, sorry, do you want to get married?" No, that's a bit silly, isn't it? But anyway, you know what I mean. It's we all live in this sort of world of things being perfect, and very often they're not perfect, but they pan out in the end.
And it could have a better outcome than she actually thinks.
Yes.
Talking of which, I went to the Panto on Friday, Cinderella.
Oh, yes.
In Richmond.
Yes.
They had real live horses on there pulling the coach, which was lovely, 2 little white ponies.
Marvelous.
Anyway, the fairy godmother said to Cinders on this love theme, an engagement theme, said, "You don't choose the people you fall in love with," at which point I then found myself shrieking out, "Oh, yes, you do." Now,
and you were escorted from the theatre and put in a white van.
So Miss R, as she's chosen this man, and we'll see if it's the right choice.
Okay. Well, Miss R of Kingston upon Thames, will you get back in touch with us and let us know what happened?
We are doing a New Year problem page, so give us the installment and we will follow it up with you.
Yes. All right. Right. Okay, next I'm going to go and do this. Ready? Stand by. This is from Al in Oxford. I think that's Alan, actually. Okay, stand by. Ready? "I'm back working in my company's office, which I have to say is quite a relief. But my wife is now complaining that all the childcare falls to her." This must be sort of post-lockdown. "I understand her point and have suggested we get someone in to help, but she's against that idea and thinks I should do half my work from home." Absolutely extraordinary. "I'm the main breadwinner and can work far more productively in town. Not only do I have everything I need to make a living there, but I had really missed the male camaraderie. I tried to talk to my wife into us getting an au pair, but she will only agree if it's a male."
Oh.
I say, I wouldn't be too happy about that, to be honest, says Al.
Wow.
Not quite sure why he's writing, but anyway, well, I could be very facetious and say you could always have a gay male au pair. And that might solve your little problems, or the other way around, actually. I think we know what we're saying. But in a way, I would just, I think, Caroline, you probably got loads to say about this. This is a bit of a high class problem, and the only actual way of doing it is to sit down, preferably not where you normally sit down, and talk to Doreen, your wife, and just talk it out honestly, and just get, "Come on, let's work out a solution," rather than get entrenched in some dodginess. Thank you. Handing this over to Caroline.
Well, no, I agree with you, Jeremy. I think a gay au pair is the best answer to this one.
Well, I mean, he has a point. He's a main breadwinner. He wants to work in town, and he's loaded in the male camaraderie, which is a fair enough point. But you've got to actually balance the book slightly by going, Doreen, you can have something equally as good for looking after the kids. Let's get a gay au pair, who maybe turns out not to be gay. Anyway, I shouldn't say any of that, but I think you just got to look for the answers in these things and not look for the problems.
And maybe put it on ice over the Christmas period. Put it on ice over the Christmas period.
Yeah, well, probably right.
Let's just enjoy ourselves. And then by the time they come back to it, hopefully they will both be feeling much more rational about it. And they need to talk about conflicty things when things are good between them. That's because that's the best. Don't wait till you're in a row to sort out conflict. Wait till you're feeling calm and peaceful to sort out conflict.
Yeah, good advice. Well, that brings us neatly to the end of the page 4, this installment. Thank you for the recommendations, the likes, and the nice comments that are starting to come in now. And I hope those keep coming, because we need to know that, just in case we wish to be sponsored by Her Majesty the Queen, or Oliver Reed's grandchild. It's been great so far. We've really enjoyed doing this, and I hope it's helped somebody. And yeah, happy Christmas, happy New Year. Over to you, Caroline.
Happy Christmas and a wonderful 2022.
Yes.
And see you before New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we will. And hope you like the music as well. We do.
We love the music.
It's very funny, this music. So have a little bit of music after this, and then go, oh, I know, I better write to them about Uncle William.
Yes.
Yes, we better get that out in the open and let's sort it out. Okay.
Bye
for now. Happy New Year and SYRS. See you real soon. Bye.
Bye.